Hello all, welcome to my vlog again. I'm going to be making another recipe today. So I'm going to be making fried rice home style. But as much as possible, I will try to give that restaurant feel, that umami feel that you find in the restaurant. Yes, in restaurants they do use MSG, they do use old rice, they do use lots of oil. So we're going to avoid doing all of that and try to make it as much as possible in the home style. So I'm going to show you my way. I'm going to actually add egg and chicken today. But yeah, if you are a vegetarian, this recipe is very easy to adapt. Just don't add the egg, just don't add the chicken. Substitute it with double the quantity of the vegetables I'm going to use. Also, you can put any kind of vegetables in this. It's fine to add anything. So of course it's all about adaptation, what suits with you. Sometimes I just go see what is there in my refrigerator, pick up those vegetables and use. So yeah, feel free to adapt it. Okay, I'll show you my way of making this recipe. Okay, now let us start first with the rice. So here I have a Sona Masuri rice over here. Now this is generally what I make for us to eat. That is roughly around 1.5 cup. Nothing different from the way I have prepared it. I have just used one rice is to two water proportion. So you will be seeing that how I've made it is still a quite the rice is not mushy. So this is very important for a good quality of the fried rice. It's very important that it really falls out like this. But another thing which is also important is that you also put it in, try to get a big plate or some dish out it where you can spread it out and you can steam it. So this I had cooked roughly around 30 minutes back, but the suggestion I would give you is that if you have the day, the day before rice, so that's what they usually do in restaurants. The white rice that they cook a day before, that's what they really use for fried rice. It's a good way to use up the rice, and also that rice is that it really stays, it doesn't break very easily. Now the reason we are doing this is that we want to make sure that when we are actually stirring up the fried rice, so fried rice really involves a lot of stirring up and sauteing it. You don't want this to be broken, so you want this to be nice and firm. That's gives a nice feel to it, that helps in the restaurant quality. So that's the main reason. Now another thing which I was always asked is that is it okay to use basmati rice for making fried rice? See, technically there's nothing wrong, it's not right or wrong. It's just that I really feel that the basmati having its own flavor and its own smell, it really takes away the umami flavor out of the fried rice. So basically I don't, I really don't like, for me when I think of basmati, it means a palau. I think of eating it with a curry or something on the side. But for me, fried rice is really a wholesome dish. So I really don't like it. And moreover, you have to be very careful. You cannot stir a lot with basmati. So if I had to give a tip, I would definitely say, avoid using basmati when making a, especially if you're trying to make a restaurant style, you really crave for that, restaurant style of eating a fried rice. It's better to always go for the short grain. It can be any variety, but I generally use Sona Masuri a lot at home. That's why I've just used whatever is available. And every now and then just keep stirring this a little. Just make sure that there's no trap steam over here. So in another, by the time we are going to I'm going to chop all my vegetables by the time this airs out. So this should be nice and cool and ready to go in some time. So I'll show it to you when I'm ready to use it. Okay, so you see that I'm going to walk through all the ingredients that I'm going to use today. So first I'll start with the vegetables. If you've seen, I've taken a mix of vegetable. Again, nothing right or wrong here. If you have mushrooms, put it. If you have baby corns, put it. People like onions, that is perfectly fine. But I just used whatever I had, and I had a good quality of beans at home today, so I just use a little extra beans. Normally I don't try to use a lot of beans. And if you see that I've also tried to cut them more or less the same, more or less the same size. Again, I'm not very proud of my cutting skills. I normally don't have, I'm not a patient person, so I don't like to spend a lot of time chopping vegetables, but I've tried my best possible here. So here I have corn, I have carrots, I have a French bean. Now these are the shoots of the onion. Because I'm not going to use onion today, I like the taste of this is very good, so I'm going to use this. This is the thick part, the bottom part of the onion shoots, and this is finely chopped garlic. If you don't have this, it's perfectly fine. I know some people don't like the flavor of garlic, but generally for a fried rice, this really helps that whole umami flavor to pop out. So I'm going to keep garlic over here. So this is what we're going to use. Now I also have another set of vegetables here. This is the top part of the onion shallots. We are going to add both of these in the end, and this is a finely chopped cabbage. So one tip I would give is do not skip cabbage. The crunch of cabbage really adds, I think that's what they do in these, roadside stalls or the restaurants. It really helps to enhance the flavor. So these we are going to use it towards the end. Now, as I mentioned, I'm going to be doing a non-vegetarian. So these two you just skip if you're going to make a vegetarian version. I'm going to just use one egg, or if you're just an vegetarian, I would just say that use 2 eggs. That is perfectly fine. Over here you see that I have lightly marinated my chicken. I've used a little turmeric. It helps that that non-vegetarian smell to go away. A little salt, a little soya sauce, and brown sugar. So brown sugar is very important when you make a fried rice. It really enhances the taste of the fried rice. So that I think is really helps, and it also helps to caramelize the chicken a little bit. So I would say that really don't skip that step and add this. And moreover, the chicken and the egg are the protein source over here. So again, if you are really a vegetarian, you can also use paneer if you want to give a wholesome meal to your family. Again, fried rice is a little carbs, a lot of fiber from the veggies, and a lot of protein. So it's a combination of all of this stuff. So try to substitute. I'm sure you have better ideas than me. So yeah, feel free and substitute it in the way you think it's going to work out best. Now I'm going to talk about, we're going to make a sauce mixture in this container. So the first thing I'm going to use here is the soya sauce. Again, this is not a brand promotion. You can just use whatever soya sauce you want, or if you ordered in a takeout, you always get some packets. I mean, my Indian upbringing has always made me save all of that, so I sometimes just use that. So you can just use whatever you want, but I just like this because this has a little less sodium, so it's always better to use that. And I'm going to roughly add around here this is around 2 tablespoons, roughly around that. Now you do see that this is already dark in color. You get 2 varieties of soya sauce, so be very careful when you buy it. This is the thin or the lighter one. There is another darker version, a thicker, that is more thicker and it is more stronger. And if it's the first time you're using soya sauce, I would not recommend to use that one. Always start off with this. This is pretty okay. This is pretty mild. Kids also don't know that they're having this. Also, keep in mind this has salt. So you have to, make sure that, the salt in this is there. So you'll have to factor that one in. Then the next ingredient I'm going to add is the brown sugar. I mean, this is just, if you don't have brown sugar, it's perfectly fine. You can just use normal sugar. This is one more thing, please do not skip this. This all helps for the flavor, to come out nicely. Now here I'm using some vinegar. So again, you can use any kind of vinegar. If you have apple cider vinegar, you have rice vinegar, anything is fine. That's perfectly okay to use as well. And the last ingredient here, I'm going to use pepper. Now, some people like to use green chilies or red chilies for fried rice. I personally do not like it. I feel that, it gives it a different taste. Yeah, if you like red chilies or green chilies, go ahead, just try to saute them in the beginning when you're going to use it, or for the extra heat. But another thing you can really add for this is white pepper powder. I do not have white pepper powder today, but normally white pepper powder really balances out and it gives a very good kick. Actually, my white pepper is a little more mild, but it complements the black pepper. So basically, this is what I use. This is all the sauces that I use. The only thing I will use to add to this is salt. a little bit salt for the extra flavor, and we're just going to directly add this in the fried rice. When you're ready, I'm just going to whisk it out a little bit so that all the sugar and all of that just comes together. You can add ketchup to this, but remember, ketchup has vinegar, so it will give out a little. You may have to cut down the vinegar. See, what we're really doing here, we're trying to get a little sweet, a little acid, a little pungency. We're trying to get a balance of all the flavors. So you're going to add this, and if you have vegetable stock or chicken stock, you have at home, or you just have it. Some people I know use the cubes, the ready-made cubes available. Many brands like Maggi, Knorr, a lot of people sell that. That is also okay to dissolve it in a little water or just add it over here. Again, this is just the basic one. You can create many combinations from this basic sauce. So yeah, feel free to experiment, and yeah, you never know what you're going to end up making and liking the taste. Okay, so now I'm ready to start making the fried rice here. It's going to take us only 5 minutes to stir up everything. So definitely fried rice is one of the quick recipes to make. It doesn't take a long time. The only thing is to chop the vegetables nicely is the only thing. And so the most important thing is, see the kind of wok I have used. This I just use it for making the Hakka noodles and the fried rice, but it's very important you have a nice wide bottom pan. This is a cast iron pan, so you will see the coloration. A little color care will definitely be needed over here. You'll have to, soon after its use, you'll have to oil it, but that's again regularly how iron is taken care of. And the spoon, try not to use a wooden spoon. Try to really use a metal kind of a spoon, because a little heavy spoon helps you to toss it up nicely. It again, these are all small things, but they help the overall feel to come out very well. And the flame should always be somewhere medium high. I know in India the burners are a little bit hotter, so it's okay to put medium, but here at least I have to put it a little medium high, so that it really cooks very well. And see, there is this technique in especially in Indo-Chinese cooking. You do not overcook anything. The outside is nicely cooked, but the inside remains soft. That technique is because of the high heat that is there in the container. Now I'm going to put a little oil first. I'm going to start off with a little oil. And as I mentioned, since I'm going to be doing a non-vegetarian one, I'm going to be using chicken first. I'm going to cook up the chicken and stir it up nicely. Yeah. So give this really a nice stir. So you can see from the sound that this pan is really hot, but you'll have to be really quick when this is done. So we're going to give it roughly 2 to 3 minutes for the chicken to cook nicely. This is raw meat, so you really want to cook it nicely. So I'm going to first cook this one. Okay, so I have been cooking the chicken for roughly around maybe 1 minute or 2 minutes. Of course, this is a high flame. You can see the sides have started to brown out nicely. And it's very important that really the chicken, when you kind of put your the spoon over there, it should nicely cut. This is chicken breast. You do not want to overcook it. It becomes rubbery. So I think this is perfect for us to remove and remove the chicken. And we're going to reuse the same wok for everything again. Okay, I removed the chicken here. I'm going to directly just add the egg here. I'm going to break open the egg. If you like egg, you can add more egg to this. It actually tastes very good. Now, whenever I cook egg, I like to add a little turmeric, because I feel that raw taste of the egg goes away. And if you see, I did not whisk the egg. I've just added, and now I'm going to break it up. Okay, now you can see the egg is cooked very well. It's just a little brown because of the soya sauce from the chicken. Just make sure that you cook your egg quite well. There should be no rawness. A lot of people, the mistake they make is that there is a raw taste here. So just make sure that is. And you can see that my rice has nicely cooled off. I've added the egg and I've added the chicken, and I'm actually going to toss this up. So what really happens is the extra oil just oozes out. And it's actually it's when we actually toss this up, it kind of it is nice. So I'm just going to toss this, and we're going to keep this ready and put it aside. Okay, I've just taken a tissue. I just wiped all of the the remaining bits of egg and things like that. So I've not really washed this pan. Now what we're going to do is we're going to start the preparation. So if you're going to be making a vegetarian fried rice, you're just going to start from this step, and you're going to first start adding the garlic. So as I said, the garlic really adds a very good umami flavor to it, and the trick is really for the garlic to nicely brown up. So when it browns up, it gives a little a good effect to it. It really the flavor seeps into the oil, so it becomes kind of a garlic flavored oil, and that's what I'm trying to get it done over here. So let us make sure it cooks nicely, and this is all done on, as I said, on a medium flame. So once you have everything, make sure you have everything ready before you start. So now I'm going to start off with putting the vegetables. I'm going to put the carrot and the beans and the corn. You can also add vegetables like mushrooms, things of, those also have a good flavor, baby corn, all of that. Okay, now you see that the vegetables, they are half cooked at this phase, and this is what we want. We are not going to fully cook the vegetables. I've added the onion shoots, and next what I'm going to add is that our sauces that we want, this is what we are going to add. I'm also going to take a little bit water just to wash down whatever there was in the end. Now, one thing I want to say is that I always add sauces at this phase, because sauces should also cook up. A lot of people do the mistake, they add the sauces right at the end. So there is that rawness or the aftertaste of that. I really don't like that. That kind of, it gives a very strong pungent smell. So I like to add it in the beginning over here, and I like to cook it up. If you're going to add any other seasoning, you can even use leftover your Maggi masala or anything, any kind of stock or something. This is the good time to add it. It will really enhances that flavor. And if you see, the water has just evaporated very quickly because of the high flame over here. It doesn't take a long, and immediately we are going to add our rice and all that we have mixed up over here. And if you're making vegetarian, just the plain rice. You can even fry pieces of tofu, pieces of paneer, or anything that you need. That also gives a very, very good a nice taste. But you see, I've just added everything, and you also see how nicely the rice has become it's cooled out nicely, and it's not sticking. It's a kind of al dente. So that is exactly what we need for a good quality of fried rice. So now comes the part where you have to do a lot of stirring. So yeah, if your husband is around or something, this is the good time to catch them and make this. But this is the main part. You'll have to stir this really well, so that all of this come and the fried taste of it comes. So yeah, I'm going to do this so you can watch. So I have stirred this roughly for around 2 to 3 minutes, but still this requires, if you see, you really want that rice to be nice and fried. That's when, so this is not, it's only halfway there. And you can alternate your stove between a high flame and a medium flame if it gets too much to handle. But this is what they do in the restaurants. They try to, nicely stir this up and give that nice fried taste. Okay, this is already beginning to look, very nice. I really like the way it is looking. It has to cook, or it has to fry for another 2-3 minutes. But this is the point you bring in your cabbage and whatever the onion shoots that you have, because you want to maintain the crunch of it. So you want to put it in the very end. So we're going to toss it up for maximum maybe 2 to 3 minutes, and then it's ready to eat. Okay, so at this phase you can see how nicely it's cooked. You can see the colors, how nicely they have come out. We didn't add any colors, just the colors of whatever we have used. And the cabbage is not, it's half cooked. That's exactly what I wanted. So it is ready to go, and you can see even the texture and the consistency, and it's perfect. So you can just pair it up with spring rolls, or even eat it plain. It has everything. Just put some ketchup on top, and it's ready to go. So hope you try out this recipe. This is one of the recipe that I make at home. This is the most requested item at home. So I hope you try this out. You really like it. Please leave me your comments. It's encouraging for me to read comments on what you like and what you don't like. It gives me ideas on what to do next. And thanks for watching my video.